Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Federico Talks Watches. Today I'm once again answering some of your questions, such as, is this tweak that Grand Seiko is making gonna be a huge deal for the brand and fix its biggest problem? Also, what is the best way to figure out if an independent watchmaker or watch repair person is any good? What are my tips and tricks? All that and way more in today's episode. Now, of course, before we get started, customary wristwatch check. Today, I'm wearing my Seiko Tuna. Don't really wear this much on camera because usually it's at home, but I wore it into the office today. It's a fantastic summer watch. It's my token dive watch, and I absolutely love it. Also, guys, don't forget to check out delraywatch.com. We just got in a massive haul of very rare, very special watches, including what I think is the most beautiful watch I've ever held, the Jacques Dreux Grand Tourbillon in rose gold. This is a limited edition of 11 pieces. It's absolutely beautiful. The dial is stunning. I don't know what to say. I wore it for a day. I got a bunch of compliments, and it's a fraction of the price of what it was at retail. This not only is a fantastic option for a tourbillon, it's also a relatively cost-friendly one as well. Speaking of tourbillons, we got another very rare tourbillon, one that I've never seen before, only in pictures, first time in real life, the Alain Silberstein tourbillon. This beautiful artist-made quirky watch, certainly not for everybody, but this represents the best of 90s watchmaking to me. Absolutely gorgeous, extremely hard to find, and of course, we are the least expensive one in the world. We also got in a brand new unworn JLC Polaris with the blue dial, the watch that Jaeger made to give Rolex a run for their money on the Submariner. Fantastic watch, great bracelet, beautiful dial. And another rare bird, an Urban Jurgensen Big 8 in platinum. I've only ever seen one other one for sale ever, which makes mine the second one I've ever seen for sale. This independent watchmaker is super high-end, currently owned by Kari Voutilainen, one of the world's greatest living watchmakers. For you guys looking for a dress watch, this would be an ultimate pickup for you guys. Anyway, guys, all that and way more at delraywatch.com, the best place for a watch geek to buy a watch. Link in the description below. Anyway, guys, these are the questions you ask me on my Instagram account at Federico Talks Watches. A few times a month, the Q&A picture pops up. When you see the picture, feel free to ask. When the picture goes down, it means I've received enough questions. Please do not DM me. I do not check them. And in no particular order, we start with James Blonde 142, and he says, with a Moser Flyback Gray, about the same price as a Daytona in the aftermarket, how silly do you have to be to buy a Rolex? Extremely silly. The Daytona is one of the most overpriced hype watches ever made. Let me clarify. If you can get one at retail, absolutely. Great watch at 13 grand. At 25, you need a lobotomy, full on. And the Moser is a great example of what you can get for that money. Now, I know the Streamliner is not for everybody, but there is no question that the quality is like comparing a Toyota to a Rolls Royce. And would you spend 200 grand on a Toyota? I don't think so. But you would buy a Daytona. Not you specifically, viewer, but a lot of people. Juan Kaz says, what are your thoughts on the Nomos Campus Club Automatic, just to scratch that glasuta itch? I think it does a lot more than scratch the glasuta itch. Nomos is a legitimate watchmaker based in Glasuta, Germany. A lot of in-house movements, very high quality. Yes, a lower price point, but nothing wrong with that. I own a Nomos myself. I actually really love the Club Campus with its colored dials and its slightly more sporting demeanor. You can do a lot worse. The Club Campus is a true glasuta watch, and I'd say one of the better ones to come out of that fabled watch town. Patina is beauty. Hey Fed, now that Grand Seiko said they're adding micro adjustments to their bracelets, does this bring them to a new level of competition? Absolutely, especially for us watch geeks. People's biggest complaints about Grand Seiko were the bracelet and clasp. Micro adjustment goes a long way. Now, if they do micro adjustment and a slight taper, oh my God, they're gonna have to beat them off with a stick. They can count me in a line of buyers, especially if these two new features come out, because I just think their bracelets are subpar. This would go a very long way. They make great watch heads, great watch dials, but when it comes time to wearing them, the bracelet is obviously a very important part of that, and that is where I and a lot of collectors kind of fall out with Grand Seiko. So yes, this is going to be a huge deal. Sartorially average. Hey Fed, love the channel. Thank you. Is there any way Omega can shrink the Seamaster thickness back to Brosnan era models? I feel it's becoming a bit too chunky. You're not the only one that feels that way, but the truth is it's probably not going to happen. The thickness is not really a design element based on aesthetics, but based on the fact that their new in-house movements are thicker than the 2892 housed in the Brosnan era Seamasters. There is no way unless they develop a new movement, and developing a new movement just to shave a few millimeters off, well, I don't think it's at the top of their priorities, but that is just my thoughts. And then Redondo Dumb. Hey Fed, what's the best way to find a watchmaker to work on a watch locally? Well, there's no easy way to do this. I mean, recommendations are usually what you should do, but there are a few tips I suggest you do when you meet a watchmaker, especially in his workshop. The first thing is ask the price. I know everybody wants to save a buck, but the cheapest watchmaker is almost always a bad idea. And not only how cheap, but how fast. They can tell you they can get it done this afternoon for a full overhaul. Yeah, something's up with that. You never want the cheapest, you never want the fastest, even though that sounds counterintuitive. Another thing I like to take a look at is what's on their bench. What are they currently working on? Most watchmakers have projects in little project holders skewed throughout their desks. You know, do you see an AP on their desk? Maybe a Calatrava? Maybe you see a vintage chronograph. Based on what I see, what else they're working on, I judge can they work on my watch. Because asking them, hey, can you work on my AP? A lot of them will just say yes, especially on 47th Street, to be able to just get the job. But to kind of take a look at what else they're actually working on, what's on their desk and taken apart, that can go a long way, at least for me, to decide whether I want to use that watchmaker. Anyway, guys, that's it for me today. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It really does help. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more content. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Take care.